Good evening, friends. Welcome to the BISP Solutions. This is Rajbhat, and today we will cover the essentials of data management in Oracle Planning and Budgeting Cloud Services, that is PBCS. This tool is crucial for importing financial data like a trial balance into the application. We will explore its importance, key concepts, and the general steps to get your data in correctly. What is data management? As we have already discussed earlier, we will throw a small light on the data management because it is very much essential to keep revising the things again and again so that the concept would be more unambiguous to you. So data management is a module within Oracle PBCS that serves as an extract, transform, and load the tool. So this is the main thing of data management, and if I talk about it's automating things, so it automates the process moving data from a source systems like your ERP ledger or the flat file into your PBCS target application. It ensures data is clean, transformed, and validated before it enters your planning and budgeting environment. So the main thing that we have to discuss it is why data management is important. So first important is accuracy. It minimizes manual data entry errors, ensuring the data integrity of your financial data. The second importance or the significance is efficiency. It saves significant time and effort compared to manual data uploads. The third thing is auditability. So it provides a clear audit trail of all data loads showing who loaded what, when, and from where. The last but not the least, it is consistency. So it applies a consistent set of business rules and transformations, ensuring data is formatted correctly across all loads. So this is how the data management works, and what are the importance or the significance of data management in planning and PBC's application. So today we will discuss the most important concept of the data management, that is using Excel trial balance load, and we will just import the data from Excel to instance. So what are the key concepts that is very much essential for your awareness, for your knowledge? So first one that we do in the past data management load, also we have discussed these all stuffs, but again we will discuss these things. So here we will use the paints option. So earlier we have discussed the steps of loading the multi-currency data, and yesterday we have discussed the steps in loading trial balance. Now we will do the unique thing. We will learn something unique. So as we know, the source system, this is where is your key as well as your data originates. It could be your ERP system like Oracle EBS or the SAP, or a simple text file. So like for example, you export a monthly trial balance from your general ledger system into a CSV file. This CSV file is your source system. And the second thing, that is targeting the application. It is also the crucial and the pivotal step to be applied. So this is your PBCS application where the data will reside. Like for example, you want to load the trial balance data into your finance plan, type in the PBCS. And the third step that we have to follow, it is import format. So under the import format, this defines the layout of your source data. You map columns from your source file to specific dimensions in the PBCS. As for example as concerned, so you create an import format that maps the account column in your CSV file to the account dimension in PBCS, and the amount column to the amount column in PBCS. The third thing, as well as The fourth thing is very much important, because without it we cannot load the data in the instance. It is very much crucial for loading the trial balance in the instance. So the another thing, the step that you have to follow, it is location. So this links your import format to your source and the target system. Like example, you create a location called monthly trial balance and link it to the import format you create and your PBCS application as the target. So the last one is data load rule. It is very important to create. It is the last step but cannot be neglected. So you have to keep a full focus on it. You have to emphasize on its minor mistakes as well as minor steps. So this is the execution step. It specifies the data file to load, the period and the year. You run this rule to kick off the data import. Like for example, you create a data load rule for September 2025 and using your monthly trial balance, location and run it to import the data from your CSV file. So this is how the data load rule forms and how it has to be executed. So the trial balance and the data management. An Excel trial balance can't be imported directly. So instead, you must export your trial balance from Excel into a flat file format, typically a CSV, that is comma separated values, or the TXT, that is text file. So this is the file you will use in the data management. The columns in this file must align with the import format you set up in the PBCS. So first we will see what are the things has to be identified. So steps that has to be followed by the professionals for the data load in PBCS. Steps to load trial balance. Step first. So what is the step first? The step first is prepare the source file. I can mention it, that prepare the source file. So you have to prepare the source file, and what you have to do on it, you can export your trial balance from its source, like example Excel, into a flat file, CSV or the TXT. But one thing you have to keep in mind, that ensure that the file has a header row and is structured consistently. So this thing you have to take into the consideration. Without it, it cannot be loaded into the instance, or it will show the error when you will just validate all your file. Okay, so this is a step you have to follow. We will all do all these steps in the instance. Also we will define it practically, that how professionals use it and how we use the trial balance loading system in the PBCS instance. The next step, that is step second. So the next step is define source system. So set up the source system in a data management. For a flat file, you will define the file as the source. So what is the step second you have to follow? That is define source system. Source system. So what you have to do under it? Under this, you have to set up the source system in DM, that is data management. Like for the flat file you will define the file as the source. You will define the file as the source. So these are the main thing you have to follow under it. The minute things that you have to keep into the consideration. And we will talk about step 3, very important. That is creating an import file. So step third is creating the import file. Creating an import file. So here we will creating the import file. How we will create it? So map the columns from your flat file to the dimensions in your PBCS application. Like we have to map all the dimensions, whether it is the account, entity, period, or the amount ones. So here we have to map the dimension, map the columns from your flat file to the dimension, map the columns from your flat file to the dimension. So what it will include? So dimension include the account, the entity, period, and amount. So this is how you will define the column into the import file format. The next thing you will do here, it is create a location. So you are supposed to create the location on it. Under the location you will define its parameters for your load. So it will includes many things, but I am taking the specific thing that you have to keep in mind, and you have to take this minute things where you can progress as well as continue your task, like file name, period, and the year. So I can mention it betterly that under the location, how we will create the location for it. That is step 4. So here we will create the location, and under the location we will set the parameters for your load. We'll set the parameters for your load. So here we will set out the parameters for load. It can include the file name, the file name, period and the year and the year. This is how you have to do these all things. You have to follow the proper step that I am mentioning on the paint. So the step 5. Here we will create the data load rule. Here we will create data load rule. This is our step 5. So under which what we have to do, we have to set the parameters for your load, including the file name and the period name. So this is the simple thing, you have to focus on it. The another thing that is executing the data load rule. It is very much important. That is step 6. Execute the data load rule. How we will execute it? So here we will run the data load rule, whatever just we have made in the instance. So you have to follow the same procedure. Under it we will run the data load rule. The system will then validate transforms and load the data into the PBCS application. So under this you have to run the data load rule. The system will then validate, transform and then load the data into your instance. This is the simple as easy thing for you. Then the last step, but not the easy ones and which cannot be neglected, that is validate the data. Validate the data. Step 7. Validate data. Validate data. So what you have to do in it, you have to load and navigate to the PBCS application to confirm the data has been loaded correctly or not. So like after the load is complete, navigate to the PBCS application to confirm the data has been loaded correctly. So here I can mention it. That after the load, navigate to the PBCS application to confirm the data has been loaded correctly. So these are all the steps that you have to follow under the Excel trial balance loading. So first step is prepare the source file. In the source files, what you will do, you will export your trial balance from its source like Excel into the flat file CSV or text, ensuring that the file has a header row and structure consistently. The next step as concerned, so here we will set up the source system in data management. So for a flat file, you will be defining the file as the source So here the things that you have to keep in mind. The third step is creating an import file. So how you will create the import file? Map the columns from your flat file to dimensions in your PBCS application. Like if I talk about the example, so I have already mentioned here, it will includes account as well as entity, period and the amount. The next step, to create the location. So link your import format to your source system and your PBCS target application. And under that and after it, you have to create a data load rule. You have to set the parameters for your load, including the file name, period name and its year. That's how you will do it on it. And then we will execute the data load rule. So here we will execute the data load rule. We will run the data load rule. The system will then validate, transform and load the data into the PBCS application. One thing we have forgotten, it is review the status. I can mention it, that is the separate steps. The step name is review the status. Review the status. So what you have to do under it? Here we will monitor the process in the workflow. Just monitor the process in the workflow tab. So you have to monitor the process under the workflow tab, and you can ensure the load was successful and check for any errors. To ensure the load was successful and check for any errors. So here you will review the status, and the last process you will follow, it is validate data. So after the load is complete, you will navigate to the PBCS application to confirm the data has been loaded correctly or not. So by the following steps, or by following all these steps, you can successfully and efficiently load the data from a trial balance into the Oracle PBCS using the powerful data management module. So one thing I have forgot to tell you, why just we use data management apart from the different source of bulk loading, or we can say why we use the data management apart from the bulk loading. So absolutely the answer is always simple. So data management is really the quicker function. So we use data management in Oracle APM Cloud for reason beyond the simple bulk loading, because it is a complete ETL, that is extract, transform and load. So not just a data importer, while bulk loading focuses on moving data quickly, and data management adds crucial steps for data quality, consistency and the automation. So one more reason that why we use the data management, that is data transformation. So what is data transformation? Like data management allows you to transform your data during the loading process, and this is the T and ETL. and is its most significant advantage. A simple buckload doesn't handle differences between your source data and your target application. So the simple bulk load doesn't handle differences, and data management lets you the map dimensions. It keeps you away from the map dimension, like you can map accounts, entity and other members from your source systems to the corresponding members in your PBCS application. Like for example, if your general ledger uses account 4001, you can map it to sales in PBCS. This is essential for aligning financial data from different systems. The another thing is that we apply business rules on it. We can also apply the business rule in the data management. If I talk about the bulk loading, we cannot apply on it. So you can apply complex logic like currency conversions, intercompany elimination, or the data aggregation as the data is loaded. The next thing is cleans data. So like you can clean up your data by removing unwanted characters, splitting values, or converting data types to ensure it is correctly formatted for the target application. So as far automation and the auditing as concerned, so data management provides a robust framework for automating and tracking your data loads, which is not available in the manual workload. So we can create and reuse process. So how we will create it, you might have a doubt under it, like how we can create and reuse the process. So like you can define a data load process once and then reuse it for the subsequent loads, and by saving the time, ensuring consistency. This is especially useful for recurring tasks like monthly or the quarterly loads. The second thing is drill through capability. So what is drill through capability? It is the simple thing, like once data is loaded, you can drill through from your PBCS report or from directly back to the source data file in data management. So this provide an audit trail and traceability, which is critical for finance and accounting. The last thing is that error handling and the reporting. So data management provides detailed reports on the status of data load, including a log of any errors, enabling you to quickly identify its correct issues. So in short, if I would say, so while bulk loading is like a pouring data into a bucket, and data management is like a sophisticated filtration system that cleans, organizes and validates the data before it reaches its final destination. So absolutely, data management has the more importance, more benefits than the bulk loading. That's why professionals prefer data management loading to the normal bulk loading. So this was all about the today's session. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching this session, and if you have any questions, so you can ask it without any hesitation on the comments.